Folks, we are getting so close to 53,000 subscribers here on Seahawks Today, just over 80 away from reaching that next milestone. Can we get there before the first preseason game next week? That is the challenge for the 12s. If you want the watch party to happen, you got to get us to 53K. Subscribe now for free for daily Seahawks content you won't find anywhere else. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV, and we'll get started with today's show. Tyler Jones here with you, fresh off a trip to Phoenix. Glad to be back with y'all. I'll have more on that later coming up at the end of today's show. A big move could be on the way for your Seattle Seahawks. We've talked a lot about Connor Williams over the last couple days, and we have a big update to get to here in just a bit. We'll also talk about some other potential free agent targets for your Seattle Seahawks as training camp underway. Somebody could be joining this team very, very soon. Let's start with Connor Williams here at the center/guard position. And over the last few days after his visit with the Seahawks, we did get some interesting updates. And it seems to be that there's some real momentum the Seahawks' direction to get a deal done with Connor Williams. If he is truly healthy, like he says he is, and as his agent Drew Rosenhaus says, and the Seahawks medical staff, everybody's on the same page about his health, then this is a no-brainer if you're the Seattle Seahawks. The offensive line for Seattle is not good, if we're going to be frank with you. It's the biggest question mark for this Seahawks team entering 2024. You bring in a guy like Connor Williams, who is, I got to tell you, just a fine football player at his position, one of the best interior offensive linemen in the league, and you can bring him in if you can afford to pay so, then you can start to sleep at night, if you will, when it comes to his abilities and what he brings to the table and feeling much more comfortable with this offensive line. The latest on Williams, he passed his physical with the Seahawks, so step number one, very good news. The Seahawks medical staff liked what they saw. Mike Macdonald said he had a great visit. We'll let you hear from Mike Macdonald more on that in that visit coming up in just a bit. Macdonald said he would play center for Seattle, not the offensive guard position where Williams has experience at both spots, and he's played both spots very well. So that would mean that Olu Owatimi would either be your backup center or move to the guard spot potentially. We shall see. And if you recall, last week, Julian Love got that extension that cleared up a bit of cap space. Still waiting on the exact details of how much cap space. But before that, the Seahawks had about $9 million. We'll see what the final numbers are, but you have to think that's more than that. The idea that's interesting is his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, is the same agent that Connor Williams has. So maybe they were all in cahoots, if you will, to be able to get this done to potentially bring in Connor Williams. Mike Macdonald had this to say on Connor Williams in his press conference last week about the meeting. Connor was here. We had a great visit. I think he's a great player. But again, there's a process with these things. People being free agents, coming off injuries, things like that. The timetable's a little bit up in the air right now, but we'll see where it goes. And where does he fit in? He's got position flex, but last year he did a great job at center. So I think that's where you'd find him if he was here. The Seahawks still trying to find their best combination between the left guard spot, the center position, as well as the right guard position for that matter, of what that is all going to look like at this point. All remains to be seen right now. Williams tore his ACL in Week 14 of 2023, and the initial reporting on Connor Williams was that he would likely not be able to give it a go till mid-season, but he is well ahead of schedule, and we heard his agent Drew Rosenhaus say that he thinks that he'll be able to play Week 1 and that he'll be able to give it a go in training camp if he were to sign with a team such as Seattle. Williams looking to play center, not offensive guard. That's where he feels more comfortable at this point in his career. And it would seem unlikely that he returns to the Miami Dolphins. So all indications, all signs point to that if the Seahawks want to move the money around and make this happen to go get Connor Williams, that they could do so, that they would be the favorites. They're in the driver's seat in negotiations to get this done. Williams, the former second-round pick out of Texas, highest graded interior offensive lineman by PFF in 2023 with an 86.5 overall grade. And you look at just these statistics more in detail about what he did in 2023 last year. He had about 500 snaps, only allowed 1 sack, only 1 hit, 4 hurries, and 7 penalties. This would be a beautiful find for the Seattle Seahawks if they could find a way to bring in Connor Williams and have him part of this offensive line and make you feel a lot better about where this group is going from here. Should the Seahawks sign Connor Williams? I'm all in. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. I'm spamming S for sign. What are you doing? Let me know in our pinned comment today. S for sign, P for pass. If you made the call, what would you do? Weigh in and tell us what you think. Today's show is sponsored by our friends at Game Time. Game Time has the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat in their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, productions, and more. Here's how it works. Let's say you want to go to a Mariners game. I love me some T-Mobile Park. I'd love to go to a Mariners game. Let's go get tickets on Game Time. Why not, right? Pick the event you want to go to. Then they got the seats. See if you like the seat or not. You get the visual if that's for you, or if you'd rather sit somewhere else, that's fine too. Then you check out on Game Time. Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. They make it simple, fast, and easy. I just used Game Time the other day to go see Kenny Chesney while I was out in Phoenix, folks. And that's not all, folks. You can save $20 off your first purchase when you use the promo code CHATSPORTS at checkout. Save up to 60% off buying for these events. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. All right, let's go to our next player. That is Yannick Ngakoue. Yannick Ngakoue still looking for a home in free agency at this point. And he goes exactly back to what we've talked about of the track record that Mike Macdonald has with working with these cheap, old, veteran pass rushers, from the Jadeveon Clowneys to the Justin Houstons of the world, among others, Kyle Van Noy, where Mike Macdonald just maximized what he could out of those guys, getting 9+ sacks when everybody had kind of just given up on those guys, right? Yannick Ngakoue, coming off a down year last year. Things weren't so great. Maybe he's just looking for a little extra juice, if you will, rejuvenation, if you will, and maybe Seattle potentially presents that opportunity. He was a Pro Bowler back in 2017, forced fumbles later that season as well, and a journeyman of sorts, playing with the Bears, the Colts, the Raiders, the Ravens, Vikings, and Jags, and he's very familiar with Mike Macdonald as well. And you look at the numbers. Here's what I'm talking about, folks. You don't have to go back very far to find the last time that Yannick Ngakoue did play at a solid level. 2022, 9.5 sacks. 2021, 10 sacks. 2020, 8 sacks. And those forced fumbles as well. I'll take him any day over Darrell Taylor. To me, I think this makes a ton of sense for the Seahawks. If you want Yannick Ngakoue, then you can have him for a cheap price. Not going to cost you too much. And you get another rotational pass rusher that fits this defensive scheme as well. Should Seattle side Yannick Ngakoue? You got two options here. You can either type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. The choice is yours. Let us know. Last on our list, Zack Cunningham at the linebacker position. Now, I'll say this. A lot has changed since the last time we talked about Zack Cunningham. The Seahawks now have Terrell Dodson and Jerome Baker back. Thank God. Very good news for the Seahawks to have those guys back in the rotation again, healthy, right in time for training camp, right? But even with that said, with those guys healthy, there's still some major uncertainty about the lack of depth behind these guys. When you got a rookie and Tyrese Knight there, when you don't have an obvious answer beyond that, John Radigan, really? I don't know. Zack Cunningham could make you feel a lot better, especially you don't know how well Baker and Dodson are going to hold up. Does anyone realistically think you're getting 17 games out of both guys? with their injury history? I don't think so. All right, just being real with y'all. That's what we do here. You look at Zack Cunningham. Wouldn't it be a bad find for the circumstance? Not that old either. Just 28 at this point for the former second-round pick out of Vandy by the Texans. Played with the Titans and the Eagles back in 2020. While people were getting COVID, he was leading the NFL in solo tackles and combined tackles that season. So that was a very good year for him. You go look at these statistics. His numbers have kind of dipped off for what he did in 2020. As you can see, went from 164 to 93 tackles in 2021, 2022. Struggled with injuries, only played in 6 games, had 24 tackles. Last year, 85 total tackles, 4 pass breakups, 2 tackles for loss. But I don't think it's a bad option at all to come off the bench and give you a little safety net just in case something were to happen, God forbid. If you had to pick one to sign, you going with Yannick Ngakoue or you going with Zack Cunningham? What would you do if you had the choice between these two? Let us know what you think. Type YN for Yannick Ngakoue. Type ZC for Zack Cunningham, and let us know which player you would rather have on this Seahawks team. Folks, good to be back here on Seahawks Today. Even when I was gone, we still brought you plenty of content here on the channel over the last few days, but had a great time in Phoenix. Was posting all sorts of updates on my Instagram at Tyler Jones Live. Encourage you to go follow me there. Here's a picture of yours truly, trying to look a little dapper, if you will. Was at the Native American Basketball Invitational over the last couple days, getting to represent my tribe, the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, and we had over 180 tribes across the country represented, 190-plus teams, had teams come all the way from Alaska, New Zealand. There we are with Marshawn Beauchamp of the Milwaukee Bucks, and we gave out the MVP award, actually, in Marshawn's honor as well. So great to be a part of that. Had a great time in Phoenix, and yours truly getting a little jersey too, as you can see on screen. But had a great time. Glad to be back here on Seahawks Today, hanging with you guys. Certainly always don't take this job for granted, but love the chance when get to be out on the road as well. For continuing updates, like what you just saw right there, follow me on IG. Go like that photo. I'm following everybody back that likes that photo and follows me. At Tyler Jones Live, you can find me there. I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.